My name's Ashley Smith. My firefighter was Austin Smith. He's my late husband. He's probably one of the most special people I've ever met and will probably ever meet in my life. We were married a little over 3 years, together for 6 years, and I found out I was pregnant like days after he died, so we have a beautiful little daughter that was born in October. So he passed away in February of 2022, and she was born in October 2022. So a very special little gift he left, and he was one of the best gift givers, so it's pretty fitting. And we came home from the hospital on what would have been our 4th wedding anniversary. So all sorts of special little things in there, which just, it just shows a lot of how special he was and how those things all still kind of tie in, even though he's not here anymore. We're from a small town of St. Paul, which is like 400 people, and they have a big rodeo, 4th of July rodeo every year. And we met there the first night he saw me. He was on duty as a volunteer firefighter. They take their shifts, and the engine I rode in during the processional when we brought his body home was the same engine he was standing outside of when we first met, and we held his memorial at the rodeo ground. So there's all sorts of weird connections and full circle things, and beauty through all the sadness, and it's all just it's hard. Like that's never going to change, that it's not going to be hard, but we can't change what happened. And I feel like the outlook I've had is like, well, we can't change it, so what are we going to do? How are we going to go about this? And that's kind of been my outlook this whole time. I'm a nurse, and I think that kind of mentality has helped through everything. That's not that it makes it any easier, but it's just knowing the logistics of everything, and how he died, and knowing that he wasn't in any pain, and that I hope is still with us some way or another, and we get to see him again one day. And especially having our child has all just been a beauty through the terrible part of it. So Austin passed in the line of duty. It was an explosion from a barn fire, and unexpected, and it was a couple days later, I was like, well, I think I might be pregnant, and I took a test, and I found out I was pregnant 4 days after he died. And then, so I was maybe a little over 4 weeks along, so not far along at all, and which was wild. And and then she was due in October, and I had her October 4th. And her name's August Grace Smith, and his name was Austin Garrett Smith, and they have the same initials, which was something very special I wanted to do to kind of honor him. And I think Austin became a firefighter because he loved helping people. He volunteered in everything in the town. He was the president of the local JC's committee, which is a nonprofit group. He was president of the volunteer firefighter district in town. He volunteered on multiple committees on the U.S. Through hop growing. He was a hop grower as well. So he loved helping. He even told me he wanted to live in the town of St. Paul because he wanted to be mayor one day. And we lived outside city limits. Like this guy loved helping everyone. I just remember him telling me one time that he would hate to walk into a room and have no one know who he was. Like, he just loved being known and loved helping out older folks, younger folks. He was friends with everyone, could talk to everyone, get along with everyone, and that was one of the things that drew me, to him when I first met him, as well as I remember him saying how much he loved his small little town, and that just showed through everything he volunteered with, and especially being a volunteer firefighter. He loved it. I think if he wasn't a generational hop farmer, he probably would have went along to be a career firefighter, and so that was his way to, give back and help out the town, and that's all he ever wanted to do, which is cool. Mutual family friend that lives in St. Paul, she had saw Austin probably a couple months before we met at the rodeo, and was telling him about me. I said I was looking for someone, and I just wanted a guy that was like a big old teddy bear. And I mean, Austin was 6'3", big dude, big old teddy bear, and she saw him at the auction dinner dance and told him about me. And then he decided to look me up on social media and creep on me on social media for months before, realized, he knew my cousin and some stuff like that. And that's how he knew about me and knew he wanted to meet me. And then, he saw me at the rodeo, and I didn't know about him. I had no idea about him yet, but he knew about me, and we got set up, and the rest was history. Like dating within a week, and he knew what he wanted, and I was like, all right, let's give this a go, and it worked out for us. So the brotherhood and friendship of the other firefighters. I mean, he loved it. The St. Paul Fire District does like dinners throughout the year. They do like a fish feed, a steak feed, all of that. The camaraderie behind it all, of everyone just getting together and, being firefighters together, but also enjoying their company with each other. Austin loved that. And not just in like the firefighter brotherhood, but in everything else he did as well. And all the groups he was a part of, he just loved the sense of community and everyone getting together with the same goal to, just help make the community and town better and be there for one another. He meant a lot to every single, firefighter, but also every single person in that town. The video they made of his memorial, just our small town, the streets being lined of, everyone coming out when his body was brought back home. And same with the memorial. I think there was thousands of people there, and just to see someone who was so young, he was 30 years old, be honored like that is pretty special. It shows, how special of a guy he was, and how he really made connections with everyone, from everywhere, young and old, and in every part of his life. His parents, his family, the whole town, everyone, so many people played a whole role in like who he became as a person. The local fire department, not just the local department, I mean I don't know. There were so many people that were in our small town when he passed away. I felt like all of us were taken care of, myself, his parents, the family, the whole town. Everyone just came together and they were like, this is what's going to happen. Here's all you need to do, this and that, which, I wasn't expecting. It's not something you ever really think of, especially when someone passes away. It's like, okay, I'm going to have to do A, B, and C. And instead, the local fire department, all other fire departments from around the area came and covered the St. Paul Fire District. So, none of our firefighters had to be on shift and go to any calls. And just so the camaraderie, not just from our own local fire department, but from everyone around and pretty much the whole state, it just really, really took care of us, all of us, myself and everyone else included. Yeah, the amount of different stories about Austin that, came out after he passed away, funny ones, him just helping out a person. Like, yeah, Austin would stop and talk to me, or, would call me up on the phone and do this and that, or would offer to help me do this. It's all stuff I expected and, saw in our lives together as well. I think the funniest story, which I kind of knew about, is he loved fishing and he had one boat, wanted another boat, this and that. Is he bought a boat one time and hid it from me for a couple days until he told me about it. And so that was a good one, is, people talking about that. And I'm like, oh, okay, or just some stories like that. Like, yeah, Austin said to never tell you this, and I'm like, well, that sounds about right, when the story came out. So that it was fun to hear those type of stories, and to still hear stories where I'm like, oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That sounds like Austin. So those stories are definitely fun to hear. I'm gonna remember Austin as, my husband, someone that only me and him had that bond, which I think is very, very special. That, I was his wife, he was my husband, and that's what we were to each other. We were more than friends, and it's just a very, very special thing to have. I'm gonna remember him as a father. He never got to be one, but he still did in a roundabout way. And just being a helpful, caring, funny guy that everybody loved. Like, there isn't anybody that didn't love Austin, and I think that's the biggest thing, is everybody loved Austin, and I just gotta love him in a different way, and that's very special. I want everyone else to remember so many things about Austin. I want them to remember, his humor. I want people to laugh, when they think about him. I want people to remember how he volunteered and helped out his community and was just a good person. And, I want everyone to take a piece of that and bring that to the world. Like, to remember him that way. I don't want him to ever be forgotten, and I'm very lucky in that he's not going to be forgotten. You know, his name's on a wall. Like, he's not going anywhere. Like, he's going to be remembered for forever, and that's very special. And I just hope everyone else remembers in the same way and takes how he lived his life and incorporate into theirs. I think if there was one word, I'm gonna pick one word. If there was one word to describe Austin, I think I would choose loyal. You know, I've touched on a lot of different words, but loyal would encompass all of him.
Here's to you, with that smile on your face. Here's to you, and what I want to raise to this moment we share.